recording. All right, floor is yours, Dennis.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a virtual meeting of the Ulster County Transportation Council for February. We have a lot of things, a lot of important things on the agenda today. So we'll start out with a call for citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments from anyone online?
Folks
Any
can,
members of the council have comments?
I'm not
Anybody
seeing
want to
any
talk about
hands
the
raised,
snowstorm?
Dennis.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of the October 28th, 2025 Technical Committee meeting summary. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do I have a second?
Second,
All right, I have a motion and a second.
Who
Any
was the
discussion?
second? I'm sorry.
Leanne.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you, Leanne. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 4, communications and announcements, Brian?
I have no specific communications and announcements right now, although actually I should mention, particularly for new members, we did have some elections and a small turnover for a few of our municipalities. I'd like to welcome Supervisor Anawan. Did I get that right, Aaron?
You did. Perfect.
Great. Thank you. She is our new representative of our rural communities, the 7-as-1 representative. Typically, when we have a member turnover, we have a boilerplate presentation that we call MPO 101. I do plan on scheduling that meeting. I think I'm going to have it as a standalone presentation. So this will be soup to nuts overview of what an MPO is, open to everyone, but specifically targeted to our new members. So I'll be reaching out in the days ahead to get that on everyone's calendar. And we can have a nice chat about the work we do. And if you have any questions about funding sources, processes, and things of that nature, we'll be able to address those in our meeting.
Yeah, we're certainly willing to meet one-on-one with new members as well if we have to. So just let us know. And we're also, quite frankly, I know Brian went to the Supervisors Association meeting and discussed some of the issues there, but we'd also more than willing to make a presentation to the Supervisors Association about what a transportation council does, if that's warranted as well. We'll talk to Rich about that, see if there's a need for that. Anything else?
Otherwise, municipalities, if they are interested in applying for the Transportation Alternatives Program, they should have submitted their pre-application to the New York State DOT. If not, that is a requirement in this year's round of funding. So if you have not submitted, I don't believe there's another opportunity. For those of you who did submit the pre-review, congratulations. It will prove to be a competitive year from what I hear. I also will be acting again as a reviewer of applications, but I have not received any directive yet on how or what applications I'll be reviewing as part of that process, but we'll be working with Region 8 on that review process as well.
Yeah, we usually don't review from the counties we represent. Is that correct, Brian?
That has been the process and tradition, although originally we did. And I understand they may be changing back to allowing MPOs to rate, rank, and score applications that are derived from within our planning area. So we're waiting for guidance. I've been keeping an arm's length from applicants as a reviewer so that I, am above board with all these applications, and we'll wait for that directive from NISDOT and follow instructions from there.
Any communications and announcements from any of the board members? Nothing from NISDOT? Sandra?
No.
Okay.
Unless there's something specific, you have a specific question?
You know,
No.
I would like to mention, now that Dennis, you bring that up, we do have a new regional director for Region 8, Sandra, and we have scheduled a meeting with NPO directors in February to have a sit down with the director. Maybe Sandra, you'd like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce her?
Yeah. I don't think she's on the call.
No,
You
she's
mean-
not on the line, no.
Oh. Yeah, we have a new regional director. She started probably about 2 months ago now. And I think it was actually Dennis's suggestion that try to set up because we do have 4 MPOs in the Region 8 Hudson Valley. We would schedule one meeting for all of the various MPO staff directors to be able to meet her. Her name's Julianne Fuda. And additionally, like Brian said, that meeting's been set up for, I think it's next week. And also, the plan is for Julianne to join myself to a few of these meetings so that you all will also get an opportunity to meet her in person. Yeah, she comes from our Albany office with a very strong background in structures. Pleasure to work with. Like I said, I've had the opportunity now to work with her for 2 months. I'm incredibly impressed. So, more to come on that. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
So if there's no other communications or announcements, we'll move into the Ulster, into new business. Number 5A, it's a draft UCTC resolution for the approval of the UCTC state fiscal year 2026 Unified Planning Work Program. So Brian, why don't we go through that before we start looking for a resolution for approval?
Would you like me to do the presentation? Is that what you're asking, Dennis?
Please, Brian.
All right, sure. One moment.
Does anyone in council have it's in the presentation, never mind. Just want people to understand what a unified planning work program is.
Yeah, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Great. Well, thank you, Dennis. And of course, this is our January technical committee meeting. So as is tradition, we always start. Our first resolution of the year addresses the Unified Planning Work Program, which runs on the state fiscal year, hence 2026 to 2027. This program runs April 1st through March 30th of every state fiscal year. What is a Unified Planning Work Program? This is a product that all MPOs nationwide are required to produce. It is the work program supporting all the goals, objectives, and recommendations of the Ulster County Transportation Council, and it has to be in compliance and in line with, along with state and federal relevant reports. Primarily, we have to be in line following the guidance of our long-range transportation plan, which is the 2050 LRTP. The document itself is a summary of all of the activities that this office will be conducting in the upcoming state fiscal year. It's all the administrative, technical, and transportation planning tasks, including consultant-based studies that will be performed by UCT staff or consultants. As you review the document, which is available online, you'll see that each individual task has detailed budgets associated with it, which presently are currently under review. As this is a draft document, those numbers may change between now and February and our policy committee meeting. But it also includes responsible parties and schedule information, whether this is an annual ongoing task or if this is a discrete specific task for a municipality or targeting a specific geographic area or purpose. So there's lots of information included under those tasks. I'm going to talk a little bit about the funding sources right now. We maintain a detailed history of all of our allocations going back to when this MPO was started back in 2023. I like to just show year after year what those allocations are. We have these are formula based, and there are two funding sources that we use. These are direct grants to our office, UCTC, to use for transportation planning purposes only. We cannot use these grants for engineering or construction. It's specifically intended for planning purposes. So this year, in the upcoming state fiscal year, we have an allocation of, let me just bring up an annotation tool here, if I can find it. 469,616. There we go. Just get the
That's
pen.
correct, Brian. And
Yeah,
then the
I'm sorry. I'm
FTA
just
out.
bringing up the
Yeah,
the
you
annotation
can't
tool.
see your screen, is that right?
I can now, but I was
Okay.
having some trouble there. And then on the FTA side, we have 57,960 as our grant this year as well. We also have cumulative savings that the MPO has accumulated over time. This table is the history of our allocations that we maintain ourselves. You'll see going back to 2003 rather, the allocation that was received. Some years we can spend more than what we receive, but we have a backlog of savings, and these grants going back, we never lose. And when you accumulate them over time, we have a total amount of $1.3 million in savings. And in addition to our allocation this year of 469,616, we're estimating that we have roughly $1.7 million in planning funds for this budget. And that is shown here. So the estimated backlog of 1.3 million plus 469 equals 1.7. That's for our Federal Highway Administration grant, what is called the PL funds, which stands for planning funds. We also maintain the same records for our FTA grants. The process for spending these and drawing them down is slightly different. It's a first in, first out program. If you're familiar with that, we have to spend the oldest grant first and close it out before we can spend the next grant. And so with our FTA dollars, we have closed out. We're estimating that we're closing out through state fiscal year 2023, and we have savings of 3 state fiscal years for a total FTA grant backlog of $161,800 available for programming. I'm now going to turn attention to Table 1 of the appendix of the Unified Planning Work Program. And excuse me while I just admit that person. Table 1, I believe, is the best compilation of what our program looks like. As I mentioned, we received an allocation this year of $469,000. Our program, we're not programming 100% of available funds. This year, we're going to use our backlog of just over $1 million for this year's program. So the total budget that I'll present the detailed projects of which in just a moment, but the total budget for this year, we're estimating at just over 1.5 million for our Federal Highway Administration. As I just showed, we have a total dollars available of 1.7 million. So we're going to leave unprogrammed in savings for future use $256,232. You'll note I keep saying estimates because this current program period, this state fiscal year, is not closed yet. We don't know how much we'll have spent in this state fiscal year. So until the books are closed on our current state fiscal year, we won't know exactly how much is available. And we'll do a year-end adjustment as we do every year to get that final program out there. On the FTA side, we're planning on programming 100% of those funds toward activities. So 161,000, which includes our savings of $103,840, and our grant this year of just under 58,000, for a total of 161,800 for the FTA program. The layout of this document is always the same. It's dictated to us by our partners at New York State DOT and FTA. It always follows the same hierarchy with 6 primary program areas: our general administration program support, comprehensive planning, long-range transportation planning, short-range transportation planning, TIP management and maintenance, as well as grant maintenance. And then there's the other category. And within the other category are our FTA planning projects. I'm just going to go over some of our projects to date, and give you an overview of what then give you an overview of what's included in this year's UPWP. So every year we do a call for projects. This is where we open up the opportunity to our municipalities, our member agencies, to submit proposals to us for potential planning projects in this year's program. This year we did not receive any proposals. In years past, we have received proposals for active transportation plans from the town of New Paltz and the town of Woodstock and the city of Kingston. We never moved those proposals forward, but we have some projects this year that we believe will address those needs, which I'll get to in a moment. We also closed several big projects this year, and I just wanted to give an overview of the status of those projects. We successfully approved the update to the long-range transportation plan that was approved in September. This is approval is valid for 5 years, and the long-range transportation plan, fully accessible ADA document, as well as a new website, is now available for review from the public. So not only do you have a PDF document of the 250-page document that you can access, but there is an online interactive web page where you can go through every section of the UPWP and table by table and review them to find the information that you might be looking for. So it's a great online reference source for folks to use. And we just went live with that last week, so I haven't even had a chance to forward an announcement there. We also had, so that there were 2 contracts associated with the long-range plan. Transpo ITP assisted us with developing the document itself, which was critical considering we were short-staffed during that update period. And then we had FHI Studios assist us with public engagement and website development, among other tasks. We also completed the UCAT route optimization plan, which had significant public engagement throughout 2025. The findings of that plan are also available through the UCTC website, and they'll live indefinitely on the Participate Ulster page as well. Those recommendations have been delivered to Ulster County government and Ulster County Area Transit, and they have pledged to seek implementation of those findings within a 3-year horizon. So we'll stay tuned and hopefully be able to provide our members with updates through the technical committee in the months ahead regarding implementation. So for the next state fiscal year, what do we have planned? We have several projects that are in the hopper, as we say. The Albany-Ulster Avenue Corridor Management Plan, which was a proposal submitted by the City of Kingston and Town of Ulster, will be a corridor management plan for that segment of highway between the City of Kingston roundabout all the way out to Route 9W in the Town of Ulster. We have issued the RFP. We have received a number of excellent responses, and that committee will meet to review those responses on Friday and begin the process of hopefully selecting a successful proposer for those. And we have budgeted the funds sufficient to do that work. We know the high range and the low range of those proposals. This is a qualifications-based procurement process, So we don't consider cost directly initially as part of the selection process. So we do have funds sufficient to address that project in the new state fiscal year UPWP. So that is our number one discretionary or a discrete priority in the next state fiscal year. The next will be an update to the 2019 Ulster County Road Safety Plan. We had applied, as we have provided updates, to the Safe Streets for All program, which is administered by the United States Department of Transportation. And these were planning grants made available to all municipalities to do these systemic crash analyses. So you can identify where crashes are occurring, what the rate of those crashes is within your municipality based on traffic volumes, and then begin to prioritize those locations to address them through engineering or other mechanisms to reduce crashes. That's the purpose, reduce serious injury and fatal crashes. Our application was not successful. We submitted twice. The second time it was rejected. We received that information in December. So we are prepared to do this work on our own using our adequate PL funding to do the road safety plan. I have a scope of work written. I just need to sit down and do a final review with staff, and we will issue that RFP late winter, early spring. We, of course, just to bounce down, we have our traffic count program. That's an annual program, and that will continue again. We'll do either spring or fall counts. We usually do around 95 to 100 different locations in the county. And then for later in the 2026 state fiscal year, we do plan on moving forward with doing a countywide active transportation plan. This would be essentially an update to the 2008 non-motorized transportation plan. We will be looking at the needs of municipalities, what their priorities are in terms of assisting individuals traveling by foot, by bicycle, who roll, or who access transit. How do they get travel on our public rights of way, and what needs might exist in order to facilitate their use going forward, and in order to also increase active transportation in Ulster County. That scope of work is currently under development, and I hope to have it issued later this year. Those are our priorities right now. In terms of this existing program, we have 4 new projects that weren't in there previously. The Active Transportation Plan is a new project that was identified through the Long Range Transportation Plan. And also the need is very well identified because we've received so much interest from municipalities for that information. We're also proposing to include a freight land use and transportation study or plan. This is not scoped out. It's certainly a concept that's in development, but it's going to look at land uses that might be open to accepting or accommodating freight activities such as warehousing and things of that nature, and then put forth recommendations that our municipalities might find beneficial when dealing with freight land use in the region. The next project that we're considering is what I call measures of effectiveness of local transportation improvements. This would be what I would call a pre-post study of transportation projects. We've had a number of improvements in Ulster County that we've seen over the years, including the Kingston Roundabout, the Broadway Streetscape, a number of traffic signals that have gone online throughout the county, and a variety of transportation improvements. And whenever those improvements are made, I think there's quite a few assumptions that are built into the plans behind them, that they will increase safety, decrease crashes, potentially decrease congestion or travel time, or what have you. There's usually benefits built into these improvements. The real question is there any follow-up to measuring what those benefits are? And that's what we would hope to accomplish through this study, is to look at some specific areas and look at the measures of effectiveness to really see how successful these projects have been in meeting the needs of the traveling public, because we can use that data to then inform potential new projects and solutions throughout Ulster County and the region. The other final project that we would include in this year's UPWP for future programming is the Ulster County Area Transit Bus Stop Amenity Inventory. This was a project that was discussed during the route optimization plan. It was raised as a need that the existing bus stop locations and shelters are not well inventoried. We don't know, we don't have a one-stop database that can tell us what's there in terms of ADA accessibility, in terms of the age of the shelter, if there is a shelter there, what other amenities might exist. Are there benches? Is there signage, etc.? This information, in order for it to be managed effectively, really needs to be included in a database. So we would assist UCAT in developing that database and making it available to them for future planning purposes. It would also inform the modernization of these facilities throughout the county and the maintenance, day-to-day maintenance of those facilities throughout the county. We weren't able to accomplish it during the route optimization plan. We asked our existing contractor to consider an amendment to the contract, and we didn't feel it was a cost-effective proposal. So we value the work, and we would like to get the work done when UCAT's ready for it. So it's going to be a standalone project we would propose. That's the broad overview of the Unified Planning Work Program. Again, the document is available for review online. We're continually editing that document, but we'll at some point need to fish or cut bait. And so we will publish the draft UPWP with some minor edits tomorrow and advertise that for 15-day public comment period. So the UPWP is subject to comment by the public and review for 15 days. And that should open tomorrow as planned presently, January 28th. We publish that information in Hudson Valley 1 as well, and we'll issue a notification to our technical committee, our mailing list. And then it is open for final review and approval by the policy committee at our February 24th meeting. And then, of course, our contact information. So that is the broad overview. I'm going to attempt to stop sharing and open the floor to any questions or comments. Dennis, you are muted. I can't hear you.
Any questions or comments for the from any of the council members? So this is a hearing none. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the UPWP for publication and public comment and for consideration by the Transportation Council's Policy Committee. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor. Appreciate it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It was Leanne, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, Leanne. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. I would just like to say that this is a fairly significant effort on staff to put this together. And it does represent, there's little things in here that didn't get discussed, including work on on-call consultants to deal with some of the issues that come up at a community level on a regular basis. We have tried to make sure that when we do studies and we do planning exercises, that they are relevant to both a long-term and short-term ability to implement. And I would give you the example of one of the studies that we did was the Broadway study, which the city of Kingston then implemented. The roundabout study in Broadway, which was implemented by DOT. There were studies that were done on in Saugerties that moved the community to start considering sidewalk work up in that area. And then there's a current work that we've done with respect to traffic signals in the city of Kingston, where they eliminated those traffic signals in the city of Kingston. So we've tried to make sure that when we do this work, that there's results coming out of the back end, that it's just not a study that gets put on the shelf. And as we go through and start this work, particularly with respect to any of the intersection improvements or concerns at the local level that you may have, it would be really important for us to make sure that that you articulate those back to the council. So hearing none and moving forward, then we're moving into essentially that we'll move this project to public comment and into the policy committee of the council. Thank you. We're going to move on to item B on the agenda, draft resolution in support of New York State Department of Transportation NISDOT's targets for safety performance. Thanks, Brian.
Sure. You're welcome. Do you want me to take this, Dennis?
Please.
So I have the agenda up right now, draft resolution 2026-2, as Dennis mentioned, was actually addressed at the October meeting of the UCTC Technical Committee. Unfortunately, when the policy committee met in November, we did not have a quorum. Therefore, it remains on our agenda. So I will, let me just bring up that resolution. Apologies. Again, for those of you who joined us late, I'm running this meeting single-handedly today, not necessarily my forte. So please bear with me. All right. So resolution 2026-2, way back when in 2015, the United States Department of Transportation introduced a new requirement to MPOs that we do performance management. And what that entails is that we begin to measure some of our progress in meeting the goals that were set forth in the performance management law. Those are varied. They include transit performance, safety, transit safety performance, measuring the age and quality of our infrastructure in terms of pavement conditions and bridge conditions, also measuring congestion and air quality. These are the various performance measures that we're required to review. Today, we're addressing the safety performance measure, and that's what draft resolution 2026-2 addresses, is the safety performance measure. So every year, we're required to update our safety performance targets for each year. And NPOs are given a choice. We can either develop our own internal targets for inclusion, or we can look to our partner at the New York State Department of Transportation and address, or rather support their targets. And that's what this resolution does, is it supports the New York State DOT statewide targets for safety in New York State. To date, we have 14 MPOs in New York State. All 14 of the MPOs always pass the statewide resolution identical to this one, and we will continue to do that as well. So what this resolution does is it looks at targets that were established for 5 different performance measures on 5-year rolling averages across the state. This is for all roads, all travel in New York State. So those include the number of fatalities annually, the rate per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, the number of serious injuries and the rate for serious injuries, as well as the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. This year's targets are shown in attachment 1, and they show for 2026 what those numbers are for the fatalities and the other measures as well. For reasons unknown to me, in the past. Those of you who've been doing this with us for a while, this is probably our 7th or 8th resolution addressing performance targets. We used to include the trend, the 5-year trend line, but folks at the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee and New York State DOT have not been including those trend lines in our targets this year. But the goal, obviously, is to decrease the measure across the board. And when I start to look into the data, we are showing slight decreases year over year across these target areas.
1.5% reduction goal for 2026, Brian.
Right. Thank
And
you.
the reduction benchmarks of 0.5% for 24 and 1% for 2025.
Right. And again, this is a statewide measure, and this is a requirement of the US DOT of metropolitan planning organizations.
And this deals basically with serious injuries, just so everybody knows. Fatalities and serious injuries are the major performance measure items.
Quick clarifying question. Brian, are these performance measures for all of Ulster County roads or just the MPO covered areas?
These are statewide statistics for all roads across the state of New York. Notice the number of fatalities, 1,005. High number, which represents statewide statistics.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the performance measure resolution. Anyone?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ed. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that?
Aaron.
Supervisor
Aaron.
Mowen.
So thank you. Supervisor, I have a motion and second. Any opposed? My apologies. Any additional discussion? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item C, draft UCTC resolution 2026-3, apportionment of federal fiscal year 2025 Federal Transit Administration Section 5307 formula funds in the Mid-Hudson Transportation Management area.
Yes, I'm at my work. And she said something to me yesterday about text message exchange, and you didn't answer her.
603.
Just a moment. Thank you. I've muted. Resolution 2026-3.
Yeah. So this resolution, you want me to take this, Brian?
Sure. And I'll try to bring it up on screen.
Okay.
Excuse me.
This resolution essentially deals with 5307 money, which is transit money that is available to the region, which are the 3 counties in the Mid-Hudson. That's Orange, Dutchess, and Ulster. This funding is derived from something called NTD data, which is National Transit Data, and it's a formula fund that comes into the region. The resolution basically says how those formula funds will be divided. They're divided between the designated recipients in the region, which are Orange County Transit, Dutchess County Transit, and Ulster County Transit, as well as the private carriers. And these are what they call the commuter carriers in the region. The total allocation for 2025 is $18,514,353. And the proposal for allocation, there's also another designated recipient, my apologies, Metropolitan Transit Authority, MTA, is also a designated recipient. So the total moving to the public operators of that funding is $15,289. And for Ulster County, that would be $694,938. And the reason for that is that when you look at the services that Ulster County Area Transit runs in the TMA area, they're not as robust as the other counties that run service in those areas. It's basically the New Paltz area and south of the county that generates these funds for Ulster County. Interbus community services are then divided in terms of some of the private carriers. In Orange County, the main private carrier, I believe, is Shortliner Coach USA. Ulster County, the main private carrier is Trailways. And these are divided. The Trailways division is essentially a contract between the state of New York and Trailways in terms of how that funding is utilized. And then what the allocations does, it sets aside a portion of those funds for use by the public transit agencies in the future, recognizing the fact that transportation demand and transportation costs are lumpy. Buses cost a lot of money. And so what we try to do is we set some funding aside. In this instance, the funding that's available for future programming is $1.5 million, $1,569,000. That gets set aside, and then we do a call for projects on that. In the past, Ulster County has gotten about $1.2 million for work associated with its its transit hub, and it's got about $4 million additional to that for actual construction of the transit hub. It also has gotten money for its bus purchases associated with that as well. I don't have a full listing of all of the funding that is out there, but the major use of this funding is not for operating costs. The major use of this funding is for capital, to meet capital needs. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion to approve from Mr. Pine. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lee. And I have a motion and second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Item D, UCTC draft resolution UCTC 2026-04, portion of federal fiscal year 2025 federal funds, Transit Administration Section 5339 formula funds in the Mid-Hudson Transportation Management area. I'll take this one too, if you don't mind, Brian.
Please.
So these funds are, I'm trying to call it up myself, Brian. Give me a little bit.
Can everyone see? I should be sharing the resolution.
Yeah, we got it now. These funds are similar to the funds, the other funds that we just discussed were 5307 funds. They have a usage for a lot of different usages associated with them, including administration, preventive maintenance, capital improvements. 5339 funding can only be used for capital facilities. It can be used for buses. It can be used for things like a transit hub or improvements associated with getting to transit hubs. And these funds are only being made available to the public operators in the region, which is Dutchess, Orange, and Ulster. And they're basically looked at in terms of the size of the transit fleet in terms of how they're apportioned. So Dutchess County there's about 1.1 million available. Dutchess County is scheduled to get about 500,000 of that. Orange County around 340,000 of that, 344,000 of that, and Dutchess County around 253,000 of that for the total of that. These funds have been used in the past for bus purchases and work on the existing garage in the city of Kingston for Ulster County. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Aaron. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Leanne. I have a motion, a second. Any additional discussion? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Item, excuse me,
That's it.
That's it. Item 6 is other business. Brian?
Yes, our partners at Dutchess County Transportation Council reached out to us. They are beginning their long-range plan update, and which is always, regardless of the size of the MPO, it's a major endeavor, and public engagement is a central component to that process. They have asked us to invite our members to participate in their long-range transportation plan survey as well. The URL for that is available on the bottom of the agenda, page 3, and we will forward that out to members as well. So please participate and encourage your constituents to participate as well if they happen to travel through Dutchess County from time to time.
So the second piece of that is project updates. I think you folks heard most of that with respect to the discussion on the UPWP. Do you have any additional project updates, Brian?
I do not. I would encourage everyone to visit the UCTC webpage, and we'll continue to direct folks to any of our latest updates through the hero bar, the slider there. But otherwise, we are at an in-between phase right now where we look forward to getting new projects underway and saying goodbye to our previous initiatives.
So any updates from projects at the local level that council members want to share? I know we have some new supervisors. I know Aaron, I'm sorry, you have a couple of bridge New York projects, and a couple of bridge projects ongoing. Let us know if you need any help moving through those. Is anyone on from Warsing?
I don't
I know
believe so.
Warsing has a couple of projects. Ed, how are your projects going at the county level?
Everything seems to be moving along.
Okay.
The Warsing projects are moving.
Thank you, Herb. Nice to see you, by the way. Yeah. Are the projects in Warsing now being handled by Barton and LaJudas?
Barber Road is being handled by GPI.
GPI? Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else?
And we will be, I have reached out to at least Warsing, those municipalities that have newly elected officials, to just assist them with project progress to try to make sure everything stays on track. As always, if you have a federal aid construction project on the UCTC tip, do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions, and we will get you those answers.
I'm sorry, Herb. I did say Barton LaJudas. I meant GPI. I apologize.
No problem.
Any additional business from council members? Final comments?
Yeah, should we just offer, I know there are a few late arrivals, maybe to open the floor up once again to any public comment?
Thank you, Brian. Any additional public comment?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, just a reminder, the UCTC Policy Committee is scheduled to meet on February 24th at 10 a.m. And hopefully we'll be at the Roundouts, the Municipal Center in Rosendale.
Yeah.
On Lucas Avenue. It's a very important meeting. We absolutely have to have a quorum for that meeting. You'll be asked to consider and approve the UPWP as in its final draft form. So if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Actually, could I just briefly, before we take that motion, remind everyone that the Ulster County Traffic Safety Board is scheduled to meet on Monday, a week from today, February 3rd, 6 p.m. in the Ulster County Legislative Chambers. Also, thank you all for making it today. I apologize for the last minute change. I think we all appreciate it, those of us who could make it. I think there may be a few individuals who did not see their emails, so I'll be reaching out to them. But please check your email prior to a meeting of this nature. The rescheduling is very rare. We tried to do it as little as possible, but I think under these circumstances, it was warranted. And for those who couldn't make it, I will reach out to them directly. Thank you.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.
Take care, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks.